News YouTube channel, director Igor Goliak is the founder of the Needham-based Arlekin Players Theater. He was born in Ukraine, and themes of war and displacement are often woven throughout his work. In our class, he embarked on a play based on real-life events, the massacre of 1,600 Jews in a small Polish town in the summer of 1941. It follows 10 Polish classmates, 5 Jewish and 5 Catholic, who grew up as friends and neighbors. But with the rise of Nazism, in the face of fear, they turn on one another to a murderous end. Our class premiered in 2024 at the Brooklyn Academy of Music and ultimately won 4 Lucille Lortel Awards for Outstanding Achievement. It subsequently played in Boston and last weekend wrapped up a run in San Francisco. Its longevity is a testament to the play's enduring themes, which are resonating with audiences far and wide. Joining me to talk about the power of our class and what its national success has meant for a regional theater company is Igor Goliak. Welcome back to the Culture Show. It's great to see you.
It's great to be here. Thank you so much. Thanks for having me.
You, like Pedro, have been off doing amazing and fabulous things. We had an entire conversation about our class right around the time it was playing in Boston. Before we talk about its effect, as this show has now traveled, just remind people, I guess in a sense, what you saw in this piece, expanding a bit on what I just described as the plot.
Yeah, I think you described the plot perfectly. It's, I actually choose my plays mostly intuitively. It either sticks with me and I live with it, or I don't. And then a lot of times in life, it seems like it proves that it was the right choice. So what stuck with me is difficult to say because I read it maybe 7-8 years ago, and I was just blown away by it and blown away by the story of the fact that this story of Jews being killed has been told until 2001 as the Germans that had burned these 1,600 Jews. And it's now being revealed, it was now revealed that it was their neighbors. And the idea of neighbors burning neighbors is something that kind of stuck with me, and something that I'm dealing with throughout my life and trying to understand with the war in Ukraine, with other wars in the world, where this type of hate, especially to somebody that's closest to you, just kind of explodes. So that's what's been living with me and with this play.
So how do you distill the success of the play and the response that audiences have had in every city in which it's now played, so strong that it's had the opportunity to go on and play in other cities and have audiences respond in similar, very emotional ways?
I think, well, first of all, we opened it January 24, which is, 3 months after October 7th. So it was something that people need, people needed to process. There's a famous Andrei Tarkovsky phrase that he said that something to the effect that we don't art's intent is not to escape the horrific events or catastrophes. It's a way to metabolize them. And in this situation, I think metabolizing the current world and the state that we're in, and the hatred that is so prevalent in today's world, this play gives people a way to metabolize, to live through it, to try to understand it, to try to relate to it. And all of that.
You didn't use the word learn from it there.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Learning for me is very intellectual. Metabolizing is more internal, where it really becomes a part of you, like the food that we metabolize. It's something that is needed by your body almost, right? Learning is something that we understand intellectually and we may forget.
Which speaks to why we may have conflict after conflict, hate after hate.
That's right. That's right.
When you're creating shows like this that are so fraught, show here in Boston, it's very visceral. Parts of it are extremely difficult. How do you gauge the audience? You've written about this, that audiences come in a certain way when they have a general sense of what the subject matter is.
Yeah. Well, just like in life, the good and the bad coexist. And there's a lot of horrible things that happen in the play, but there's a lot of very humane things, or both of them are very humane, very positive things. There's love, there is humor, there is people playing soccer together and being together and sincerely together, and then something happens and that breaks, and what really draws me to the play is that the play doesn't give an answer of why that happens, because I think it's very presumptuous to actually give an answer to that, because if we had an answer, we wouldn't be, as you say, in conflict after conflict after conflict. I wish there was one, but I certainly don't have one. And I think that's something that the audience is thinking about. What is the answer to today's to how we feel in the world today, to how we live this world today? What is the answer of all the? What is the reason for these conflicts and this hate? And it's very difficult to understand why. And those are the questions that are being being positioned to the audience and to ourselves, and for the audience to be able to see themselves in what is happening on what is happening on stage, on both sides, as a victim and as a perpetrator, because they're both humans. They're both just like us.
Did you had criticism over the course of the run for humanizing both sides, making fully realized people on both sides?
No, there is a split personality disorder that I must admit to, where I myself, as a person, as a Jewish refugee from Ukraine, have very strong feelings about this, and I have a son, Jacob, and a daughter, Esther, and they live in today's world, and of course, there's no way for me not to have strong feelings towards this. But the other person in me, which is the director, needs to. I see the role of a director as needing to make these people as human as possible, even these awful people, so that we as audience members don't compartmentalize and say, okay, these are bad people, let me put it on a shelf, and because I'm not like that. My intention is for the audience to see how they are similar to even the bad ones. So my intention is for them to fall in love with these people. And then maybe they'll realize something about the hate that lives inside each one of us, inside me, inside possibly you, right? So maybe then there is a chance of us to learn something about ourselves, and not to compartmentalize, and not to say these evil people lived 70 years ago overseas in some little Polish town, or in some German Nazis.
Well, again, just to remind people how I described the plot at the beginning, the people we're meeting, you want to like all of them at the outset, because they're all friends, they're all a community, they're all sharing games and food and play and life, until they don't. And
That's
then
right.
To the horrible end that we talked about. Did the feeling, did the tone, did the atmosphere in the room change for the San Francisco run when the Iran war started and we were reminded again of more conflict?
I think that there is a change of atmosphere. If at BAM it was people stunned and people didn't want to leave the theater because they really needed to process October 7th together. then the Boston run was a little bit different. I'm failing to formulate what it was, but I think this run, there was almost like a special connection between the actors and the audience, and thinking about what kind of choices we make as human beings. I think that was kind of the highlight of this run, because it's a living thing, and it changes every time, because the time change, right? The times change, and this run was definitely more about the choices that people make, specifically with Rahelka, who is one of the only survivors in the town. She marries a Polish classmate that saved her, and then she turns on. Basically, she says that she's never experienced anti-Semitism, and when these people, that the perpetrators, were tried, she is a witness on their side, and how she loses herself. And there's a beautiful moment in the play where, as you remember, there are balloons that kind of symbolizes souls of people. And at that moment, this is something that we've added to that place. A little balloon leaves her body.
Oh, that's a very nice touch, because yes, certainly from that moment, you're considering moral choices that you would make if you were in horrific circumstances like that. Let me shift gears a bit and ask, by the way, I'm speaking with Igor Goliak, who is the founder of the Needham-based Arlekin Players Theater. Needham-based, perfect segue to what I was going to ask, of what it has been for you to start in this very small theater place in Needham, and now you're reviewed by the New York Times, you're performing in New York, you're traveling now. What does this mean for your company? How do you describe your company now?
Our company is definitely not a local theater. We are local, as in we perform in Boston, and we are gonna, I hope I can come back and talk to you about the show that we're opening in June. But the company is traveling. We did a show in London in the fall. The company is traveling, and how I view it is, it's an extension of finding people that speak the same theatrical language, speak the same, have the same intention of revealing humanity, and have the same rigor. And we just continue. We started in Needham. Our studio is still in Needham, but we keep growing. But we're still Arlekin. The essence of what we're trying to do is the finding meaning, and really how we judge our work is not how many plays we produce, but what stays with the audience members on their way home. Like, if I had a counter, how many steps that people take after seeing my show, and that's a counter of our success. And I think that if we find collaborators that are in the same vein, looking to make this type of impact, there are people.
I think you need to measure the speed too. I always find that about myself. Am I rushing back to the car or to the tee, or am I taking a very slow and deliberate walk because I need to let it wash over me?
That's right.
We only have 30 seconds. Can you tell us what's coming up next?
Yes, it's a secret. Don't tell anyone. It's called. It's an Ionesco piece, absurdist piece called Delirium that I'm adapting, and we're going to be premiering it here in Boston, and then it's going to go to New York. In Boston, it's going to be mid-June. Tickets are going to be on sale in about 2 weeks.
Well, if people are listening and they've seen any of your other work, get them as soon as they go on sale, because you have big fans like Mikhail Baryshnikov who speak your theatrical language.
Yes, he does.
Yeah. It's a measure of why you want to get your tickets now, is what I'm trying to say. Igor Goliak, always great to see you. And yes, we will absolutely have you back to talk about that show too.
Thank you so much.
Igor Goliak is founder and artistic director of Arlekin Players Theater, based in Needham. To keep on top of everything they do, visit their website. Thank you for listening to another edition of The Culture Show.